The person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good novel must be intolerably stupid. Jane Austen said it, not me. My name is Rosie Kienbaum, and I'm here today to inform you about the author Jane Austen. And my 3 key points are her early life, her literary works, and her death and legacy. You will find out who Jane Austen is, why she left, and why she left such an impact to this day. She's my favorite author, and I've read Pride and Prejudice, and I've watched 3 movies based on her books. Jane Austen was a woman of wit and character who started out her early life similar to those she writes about. Early life. She was born in New Hampshire village, Steventon, UK, and this was her house. She was born on December 16, 1775, and she had a close family of 10 people. She was constantly encouraged to learn and to be creative and to read from her father's extensive library, where she got most of her information. While at home, she learned to play piano, to attend church, and to socialize with multiple people, and to dance, and she became a very skilled dancer. This teacup, she's learned how to tea and stuff. The setting of her young adulthood would be the inspiration in the setting of her future novels. Her literary works. She started writing off in notebooks and journals, short stories, poems, poetry, letters, and plays that she often read out loud to her family. It wasn't until after a few family complications, her father moving them outside the country, her very close friend's death, and her father's death, that she would start fully committed to her writing. She wrote parodies of already existing work, a couple of them called Love and Friendship and the History of England. They were very mocking and funny and very just rude kind of all around. She wrote many short stories that would be published after her death, one of them being Lady Susan, and it was one of her most serious novels. She will have a total of 6 novels published to her name, them being Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Marksfield Park, Emma, Persuasion, and Northanger Abbey, which Persuasion and Northanger Abbey were published after her death. She had published anonymously through her brother, and her brother was the person between her and her publisher who got all the information for them. And it wasn't until after her death that he came forward and told the world that she was the author. She was very popular and everyone loved her books, and a fun fact is that the then Prince Regent, King George, he loved her novels so much that he had multiple copies of each of her books, and he had them in each of his residences. And he, at a discreet royal command, he asked that Emma was respectfully dedicated to him. Her novels were a refreshing change from the romantic melodrama common in her time, and she gained much popularity that would last through 2 centuries. Her death and legacy. She died on July 18th, 1817, and she died in the middle of a novel that never got finished. And any info that was written about her or that were in letters were destroyed by her sister Cassandra, and most of the info that is found today would be verbalized through her brothers and her nieces and nephews that were close to her during her time. I got most of my information through the book, memoir biography by one of the authors who is still alive today that got as much information as she could. And it's been 200 plus years since the publication of Pride and Prejudice, and which has been turned into 3 different movies and countless versions of the same storyline. Her books were a modern way of seeing the world, and it was very different, and it was a mark of a new type of literature during her time. And the format that she uses is still popular and understandable to this day. Austen's name is recognizable by many literature lovers, and her books are even more so. Like I said, they're the mark of a new era of literature, which resonates to this day. Which she was in this book, which is very popular. Conclude. To bring it to a close, Jane Austen was a spectacular author of whom I shared her early life, her literary works, her death and legacy. She created some of the greatest literary classics. Just as Jane Austen said, it isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. And what she did was very memorable. My name is Rosie Kienbaum. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions? Yes.
What was one of your favorite works by her?
Pride and Prejudice. Any other questions?
Why did you choose Jane Austen?
Because she's one of my favorite authors, and she's really fascinating to learn about. Yeah.
What's your favorite movie based on one of her books?
Pride and Prejudice, the BBC second version.
Nice.
Thank you guys. Just press move again.